Welcome to the Joy Kwok Dai channel. What is Esoteric Buddhism? Join the Joy Kwok Dai channel as we explore the complete picture of Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism in today's video. Vajrayana and Tantrayana, or Esoteric Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism, represent the highest level of teachings in Buddhism. Many people have held misunderstandings and misrepresentations about the primordial nature of Tantra. Some argue that it was the Tibetan Lamas themselves who established this. Some suggest the cause was the introduction and transformation of Hinduism. Another hypothesis suggests that Tibetan Tantra originated from a Mongolian religious tradition. That is not the case. The Vajrayana tradition was established by Shakyamuni Buddha. Of all the Buddhist teachings, Vajrayana is considered the supreme and most profound doctrine. That is also the most formidable challenge on the path of cultivation and attaining enlightenment. To truly understand Vajrayana, one must first undergo the training of Theravada and Mahayana. The Buddha often taught the Dharma according to the disciple's capacity and level of understanding. Everyone's level is different. Some are high, some are low, and some only reach an average standard. Therefore, according to each person's capacity and level of understanding, the Buddha taught doctrines appropriate to their ability to comprehend. One must silently adapt to the listener's capacity, much like using profound teachings to instruct those of ordinary or inferior understanding. This brought them no benefit because they lacked understanding. From this, a sense of discouragement and resignation grew within the captivity. To those of lesser capacity, the teachings of the lesser vehicle are given, while to those of medium capacity, the teachings of the greater vehicle are given. Only those of the highest capacity can explain Vajrayana correctly from the very beginning. When preaching to different categories of sentient beings, he also manifested into various different forms. For example, when preaching the Hinayana teachings, he would immediately manifest as a bhikkhu. When expounding the Mahayana teachings, he manifested as a bodhisattva. When expounding on the Vajrayana, he himself manifested as the Tathagata Buddha or the divine daemon deity. Vajra, from Sanskrit, or Dorje in Tibetan, means the indestructible essence, as solid and sharp as a diamond. It can pierce and destroy all things, yet nothing can destroy it. Just like a diamond, Vajra is both strong and precious. When practicing according to the Vajrayana tradition of Esoteric Buddhism, one's inherent nature becomes firm and difficult to tame, akin to the stubborn temperament of a bull. No hollow force should be allowed to exert its influence. The practitioner of the Vajrayana path does not allow any cunning schemes or terminology to shake their resolve. For if one remains influenced by cunning, trickery, or any other such artifices, one will never be able to comprehend the true essence of the Vajrayana. Adapting to conditions while remaining unchanging. That is the manifestation of a perfectly healthy soul. The path to Vajrayana must necessarily traverse many stages of practice, and must begin with a thorough understanding of the foundational teachings. Next is the Mahayana doctrine, the fundamental basis of these two schools, followed then by Vajrayana. Tibetan lamas often advise those who rush into Vajrayana through a shortcut path. This is extremely dangerous, as failing to grasp the true meaning is a serious mistake you could make. Kim Kao also encompasses numerous different methods, to be studied as appropriate to the time and practiced as suitable to the place. But the ultimate goal remains singular: how the practitioner can attain the state of perfection, nirvana, within this very lifetime. Typically, tantric practitioners take the four elements of mandala, mudra, mantra, and sacred sound as the principles for their practice. But still, I could never fully capture the profound, mystical essence hidden within the sound of the flute. In our own prison, many people who do not truly understand Vajrayana claim that its teachings contain many points which seem to contradict each other. The tone and the subtext did not align, which led to misunderstandings and often caused them to openly contradict each other. Perfect penetration. The path to Tantra must be traversed step by step. One cannot skip stages. Without mental calm, free from discursive thoughts, and without understanding the teachings of the Hinayana and Mahayana, it is very difficult to enter the Vajrayana. Here are the key points regarding this path of cultivation. Regarding the Hinayana tradition, it is essential to thoroughly comprehend the doctrine that all phenomena arise from causes and conditions. Comprehending the truth of emptiness, one practices for self-benefit and attains the fruit of the Hinayana vehicle. Regarding Mahayana, it is essential to grasp the core principles of the mutual reverence among dharmas, the mutual reverence among schools, and the middle way doctrine of the one vehicle. Understanding these difficulties, for centuries now, Kim Kang was only transmitted orally within the limited circle of a few monks. Physical strength was superior to everyone else. However, this does not mean we should neglect the fundamentals and jump straight into abstract theories, as that could lead to unforeseeable harm. In summary, the teachings of Mahayana and Vajrayana are profoundly deep and vast. Among these, the essential point is to vow to liberate all sentient beings. The originality of Kim Kang's work was not preserved when it was disseminated to the West. They often interpret this teaching as the path to sudden and immediate enlightenment. Other scholars here emphasize freedom of action, championing generosity and lack of constraint. Moreover, it is also a method to prepare meat in a refined and sublime manner. Many paleontologists have pointed out this confusion. In the first teachings on Vajrayana, they often emphasize that Vajrayana does not exist independently outside of Buddhist schools. Currently, in the West, distinct ideologies regarding Vajrayana are developing alongside practical applications. Not only did they commit serious mistakes, but their actions were also destructive and distorted the teachings of Buddhism. At the same time, this action also causes harm to Vajrayana practitioners. It is extremely dangerous for Vajrayana practitioners to not have a thorough understanding of fundamental Buddhist doctrines. The central tenet of Kim Kang Thua is the concept of steadfastness and indestructibility, while also representing a return to one's own primordial origin. With the awakening of one's true self and the realization of the indestructible diamond nature within. With its profound and deeply symbolic meanings, the Dharma mandala often evokes associations with mystical magical rituals. Usually, they have overlooked an extremely important point. Vajrayana is a path that inherits and develops the essence of both Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism. The practitioner who does not begin training with the two preliminary vehicles, but hastily shortcuts into Vajrayana, will easily stumble and lose their way. Moreover, it can even cause numerous disorders and lead to a psychological crisis. Tan Cha Mat Zhao, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana are fundamentally an integrated whole, sharing an intimate and mutually inherited connection. Without a foundational understanding of the basic Buddhist teachings of the two vehicles, even studying profound esoteric doctrines like the celestial Dharma transmission is like building a magnificent castle on sand. Sooner or later, it will collapse. Kim Kang's succession is the deeper and more comprehensive development of the two previous successions. This is the cultivation of wholesome emotions and healthy perceptions through the practice of methods from both the Hinayana and Mahayana traditions. The fundamental error of Western scholars in their study of Vajrayana is that they have not received authentic and correct transmission. Due to the illusory nature of this surplus, all Tibetan universities have departments of metaphysics. Perhaps this is a unique field of study, only found within the Tibetan education system. This curriculum is very systematically and rigorously structured. Students not only undergo examinations in Theravada and Mahayana Buddhist studies but are also comprehensively evaluated on their aptitudes. Before embarking on the path of the arcane arts, one often requires the earnest guidance of deeply knowledgeable masters. These classes were conducted orally, taught to individuals one by one, and were often held in secret. As a matter of academic principle, students are strictly forbidden from disclosing the knowledge they have acquired to others. At the Tibet University campus, there are never public debates on Vajrayana teachings. Students may or may not believe in these teachings. They may also withdraw from the course if they feel their level is insufficient to comprehend the teachings. The masters also agree with this perspective, as a lack of fundamental Buddhist knowledge will lead to unforeseeable consequences in the practice of Vajrayana. Only through many trials can a practitioner attain profound wisdom, uphold the precepts, and earn the respect of all. Beyond this door, they were considered to have gained the ability to enter the invisible realm and wield mystical magic. They could organize ceremonies to pray for favorable rain and gentle winds, to ask for warm sunshine, or to beseech the deities, hoping for assistance in certain matters, and those prayers were often answered immediately. They were taken to the countryside villages to help the people exorcise demons and eliminate evil spirits. In Tibet, from ancient times to the present day, This land has remained renowned for its mystical spiritual traditions, which are entirely distinct from those of many other countries. Some believe that Tibet, with its high altitude and year-round cold climate, possesses a majestic and profound aura akin to that of vast primeval forests. It is precisely this quality that draws supernatural energies to converge upon this land. In this environment, Tibetan monks were able to flourish. Even renowned masters from India and China spent time here to study and practice. There are 4 types of Vajrayana practices: Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and Anatara Yoga Tantra. You must go through each stage for your steps to be steady and to avoid regrettable mistakes. Based on each practitioner's unique capacity throughout their path of cultivation and realization, individuals can transform their own experiences of bliss into a suitable and necessary method of practice for each stage. The original passage seems unclear. Based on pronunciation and contextual clues, this sentence likely intends to convey: first and foremost, it is essential to cultivate profound bliss by meditating upon a Buddha, a Bodhisattva, or a certain deity. Happiness and well-being arise only when we focus our contemplation on that very object. Thus, all joy is focused on the contemplation of emptiness. Next are practitioners of the visualization method, who concentrate to generate joy and bliss, such as by visualizing the images of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, or deities with joyful, transcendent, and gentle countenances. Use this bliss to meditate on emptiness, thereby transforming the bliss into a personal practice method. As for practitioners of the secret mantra vehicle, Vajrayana, when they have generated a blissful sensation through concentrated visualization, they may then approach and use their hand to touch the image of the Buddha, Bodhisattva, or deity they are visualizing. When pure joy arises from meditation, the practitioner uses that very sensation of bliss as an object to contemplate its nature of emptiness. Thereby, the mastery and transformation of this stream of joy becomes a distinctive method of practice. Finally, for practitioners of the Mahamudra tradition, during the practice of union, whether embracing an actual person or visualizing the embrace, they attain the state of great bliss. Through the meditation on emptiness, this bliss will transform into a wondrous spiritual path. In summary, all these practices are built upon the foundation of the Bodhicitta. By the power of the mantra, all sentient beings can be led to supreme and perfect enlightenment. You have likely encountered images of the pure lotus flower, the majestic Dharma wheel, or the mystical mother of pearl conch in Buddhist art. However, did you know that the Dharma wheel, with its structure consisting of a hub, spokes, and rim, symbolizes the 3 fundamental aspects of Buddhist doctrine: Sila, morality; Samadhi, concentration; and Prajna, wisdom. Have you too ever heard of such terrifying tantric ritual instruments as the trumpet made from a human femur? The Tibetan kangaling is a musical instrument crafted from a human femur, resembling the shape of a ritual horn. Its tone could appease even the wrathful deities, yet he made all spirits and demons tremble with fear and sorrow. This swaddled horn-bearing deity also symbolizes their control over the underworld. To gain a comprehensive understanding of the rich symbolic system, the distinctive mythological motifs, and the mysterious rituals. Above all, it is to admire the unique artistic beauty and comprehend the profound philosophies of Buddhism in general, particularly those of ancient Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism. The World of Great Faith believes that the Tibetan Buddhist Symbolic Handbook is a book you absolutely must own. Ranked among the top bestsellers on Amazon in the religious art and photography category. After 8 years of dedicated research, this book is a unique work featuring hand-drawn illustrations, capturing the sophistication and exclusive vision of author Robert Beer. You will explore the magnificent and intricate art of Tibet, admiring the vibrant beauty of Buddhist paintings and statues, and artifacts deeply imbued with the imprint of Tibetan Buddhist culture. Van Min Vat Chat Kua Noi Viet. The passage has been translated into Vietnamese comprehensively and meticulously. As a result, Vietnamese readers have the opportunity to access this vast body of knowledge. Buddhist wisdom in a more understandable and relatable way. This book is not only for those who love Buddhism, but also serves as a meaningful gift for artists and designers. For those who cherish the art of Dong Ward's culture, and ultimately, for anyone who knows how to appreciate spiritual values. Driven by a thirst for knowledge and the pursuit of enlightenment, This book will guide you toward the beautiful spiritual values found in Buddhist philosophy. Help you find inner peace and discover the path to enlightenment from deep within yourself. The soldier has placed an order for the notebook featuring the Tibetan Buddhist symbol that was introduced in the video's description. Buy now to explore the fascinating world of antiquity. The following story speaks of the distractions and lack of focus often encountered on the path of cultivation, and the appropriate way to handle them. Often held up as an example and frequently mentioned in monasteries. Magic and mystery in Tibet. The story takes place in Tak Chien Lu, the central sanctuary for devotees of the Fuju religion. There was a renowned lama in the region, regarded as the most successful practitioner of the mystical arts. My name is Trom Tu Sang. According to legend, whoever possesses the ability to foresee all future events. This place is right in the area, and thanks to its reputation, it's usually treated very generously. On one occasion, due to a matter of great importance, the Mandarin sought out this lama's place of retreat. The two parties had an open conversation, mutually explaining and sharing their perspectives with deep understanding and mutual agreement. But immediately after, Tu Sang unexpectedly expressed his desire to marry the only daughter of the adjutant general. The problem occurred so suddenly that the adjutant couldn't react in time. The reputation of Lat Man village has been widespread and renowned throughout the entire region since ancient times. How can you suddenly demand to get married like that? Isn't that against the precepts? Because his demands were not met, the lama flew into a rage and smashed all the furnishings at the banquet to pieces. He raised his voice, cursing him viciously and threatening to use his magic to make the official die within the next few days. Of course, everyone just thought it was the empty threat of a drunkard. So hardly anyone pays attention, even though these are the words of a supremely powerful lama. But then it happened. 2 days later, the seemingly healthy adjutant suddenly dropped dead. Everyone believed that the lama's threat had come true, and this was the first warning. The hopes and expectations that the people once placed in the previous government have now completely vanished. The family of the recently deceased attendant officer has asked an official to mediate, submitting a petition to offer the younger sister in marriage to the lama. But he refused on the grounds that this response was too late. Regarding the matter, the lama's silence had become a situational issue. And the younger sister offered him a plain rice cake, but he refused it, saying that this response had come too late. As for the lama, since then, he has exhibited unusual behavior that has made even his own disciples concerned. One quiet, late night, he suddenly remembered something important. He hurriedly got up and ordered his disciples to prepare the luggage so they could set out together immediately. Though their hearts were full of doubt, everyone still obeyed. When they reached the riverbank, he ordered them to stop and cast his gaze toward the midstream. Soon enough, something glistening appeared in the river, drifting right to the nearby bank. It was a corpse, still fresh and not yet decomposed, floating upstream in a most peculiar manner. The lama ordered his disciple to fish that piece of meat out of the water, cut a slice with a knife, and hand it to the man, saying, "Please, help yourself to a slice as well. This is an exotic fruit from a distant land, a gift from our friend." The terrified disciple then cut a piece of meat for his master and one for himself, then pretended to eat by stuffing it all into his bag. "I thought you were a highly virtuous person, which is why I bestowed this treasure upon you. Little did I expect you to be so timid, truly unworthy of my reward." Ashamed by the reprimand, he reached into his pocket, but strangely, couldn't find the piece of meat anywhere. Actually, in the eyes of ordinary people, the story holds a meaning far more profound than that. Regarding the matter of the lama demanding to take a wife, it was actually to subdue an evil heretical power, forcing it to reveal its true form as the minister's daughter. Through the eyes of Western observers, this lama has tarnished his own reputation. But for Tibetans, this is considered a transcendent act, achievable only by one who has opened the Dharma eye, seeing through the true nature of demons to be able to subdue them. Thousands of strange anecdotes about the lamas are still passed down, but when contemplating them, Tibetans do not merely look at the surface to make superficial judgments. This land is almost entirely enveloped in an ethereal, invisible world, making anyone yearn to witness it firsthand at least once. Tibetan Buddhism originated from Indian Buddhism, formed through the integration of various schools and doctrines, including Pure Land Buddhism. There are many instances where one practices the Zen meditation method, But there are also times when the Pure Land method is employed, such as when a person is about to depart from this world. Bardo Thodol. Depending on each person's state of mind and level of enlightenment, these colors, sounds, and landscapes will appear either in dazzling brilliance or in gloomy obscurity. Meanwhile, depending on each person's spiritual capacity and karmic forces, some instead see grotesque and repulsive forms, wild beasts, fierce and savage predators. However, there are also those who have personally witnessed transcendent realms, where angels, saints, heaven, or hell manifest before their very eyes. It also depends on each person's level of enlightenment and self-cultivation throughout their life. Additionally, there is support from various other sources, such as the moment a person passes away, when family members and religious practitioners join together to chant the sacred names of the Buddhas. Maintain a tranquil mind to heed the guidance of the presiding lamas, and in that moment, one will behold the splendid realm and attain immediate enlightenment. This indicates a significant influence of essential oil concentration on color density. This method of astrological calculation was also used by Tibet in many instances. When a child is born, when a loved one falls ill, when an unexpected accident occurs, or when facing danger, sincerely chanting the sacred names of the Buddhas will help transform difficult circumstances.